Namaskara, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. I saw every single word that flashed on the screen. What's wrong with you? Joyce? You didn't even follow. Well, I like the way it's following. So we've had the Netherlands, Finland, Sweden now. Obviously the Nordics is a big part of my existence. My family, we shifted to Sweden for 2.5 years. And this is where the startup that I have co-founded was sort of birthed, the idea. Because if you Google best countries in the world to live, top 10, there'll be probably 4 of the Nordic countries will be right up there. And it's not about it's a beautiful place. I mean, you saw some of those flashed images. It really is an incredible country. And all the countries, an incredible region. But so is India. You know, we are now actually based, I've seen the light, literally. After 2 winters in Sweden, I have seen the light and have shifted family now to Goa for 6 months and to Cape Town for 6 months. So literally have now spending time. And the reason I've been a speaker drawing parallels between sport and specifically cricket here in India and business and life since about 2015, 2016. So a lot of time at corporate events, usually been asked by management to motivate and inspire their employees to go beyond and improve and increase their productivity and go beyond boundaries, because I was renowned as a fielder, somebody who could protect the boundaries, I suppose, in a way, but somebody who always had energy, who always had the sort of buzz around the field. And it was quite interesting because my focus shifted in about 2017 to actually look at the people that I was addressing. And I started getting concerned. So way before the pandemic happened in South Africa and around the world, and especially here in India, the numbers that started coming out of the health of people, way before the pandemic in 2017, I was getting concerned about the people I was talking to. Because yes, I can come and inspire and motivate for a week, maybe it will last 3 days possibly, but what's going to happen in a month's time if corporate India keeps taking advantage of their employees? I think there's just too many well-qualified people available in India. And at that stage, I think organizations understood that and possibly took advantage of it. So my whole focus then shifted around, hey, if we're looking for improved and increased productivity from these people, surely you need sustainability and consistency in your employees throughout. So all of the lessons that I had learned from cricket, a lot of it was team building, the games, the competitiveness, the accountability of being in a team, suddenly became my shift and my focus around health and wellness. Because unfortunately in Bollywood, fitness is always seen as sort of biceps and do you have a six-pack? Okay, you're fit, so you're healthy. And it's not the case at all. And what has been really interesting for me is that, I'm a cricket guy. To the core, I'm a cricket person. So now as a co-founder in a startup that's a subsidiary in India, man, it's been frustrating. We were here, 10 months ago when it was last year's summit? Joyce, thank you for the invite again. He's brought me back, I don't know why. But it took 4 to 5 months of when we kind of announced we were getting into the market, and this is what we were planning to do, before we got our first client. And usually for me, it was see the ball and catch it, or see the ball and try and hit it in my case as a batter. It happened instantaneously. So to understand the ecosystem of getting something off the ground has been a real learning curve for me. It's taught me to slow things down a little bit, which I'm not very good at. So it's been really fascinating because seeing that the work-life balance that they had in Sweden for those 2.5 years, and understanding that there is no ways on earth that you can copy and paste what's happening in Sweden and bring it to India and present it to India and go, hey, this is the way you have to go. It is never going to work. You can't replicate Sweden in India in any sense of the word. So it's been a great journey for me, an exciting journey with my wife, because wellness for us starts at home. And unfortunately in India, most of our hours, or most of the working hours, are spent at the office or on the road. So while in the Nordics, where the governments do a lot for the people, which allows them to have that, enjoy that work-life balance. In a country of 1.4 billion people, how do you expect government to do the same as what the government of Sweden is doing for its population, where there's 10 or 11 million people? Slight difference. So the biggest impact you can have is in the workplace, because that's where you're spending the majority of your time in the week. So that has become my focus now. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to go and motivate people for 2-3 days or inspire them, we've set up a platform which again incorporates fun, because that for me was cricket. It was a game. I know you play for your country, it's a career for many people now, but it has to be fun, because it is stressful, and that's where the work environment is. So how do you make it more fun? How do you connect people through enjoyment? And it's as simple as trying to say, okay, the healthy choice needs to be the easy choice. Because I've seen how people work in India. There is a real growth mindset. People are driven. There's desires from an achievement point of view. And it's no longer a case of, it really will be, that will be the West, the Bangalore of the West, for sure. Because the growth rate here in India is incredible. So understanding the fact that there are people here who are sacrificing a lot, often not just for themselves, but for their family, for their children, you know, putting their kids, we want to send them to school and university and colleges in the US or in the UK, some of the best schools in the world. So there's a real drive to be successful here. And it's generally not always for yourself, but it is for your extended family. So from a point of view where I'm now coming with a setup where we're offering a platform for corporates to engage with their employees and ensure, because a big part of culture and the brand of an organization is how they treat their employees. And it's always amazing because, you know, just one quick story before we go to lunch was that I played cricket for South Africa for 11 years. And I mean, I bumped into a world record which I didn't even know existed. I was told after the game, oh, you just achieved a world record. I mean, I didn't even know there was a world record for fielding. Fielding was something I did for fun. So I was pretty good at what I did. But the amazing thing is, at the end of my 11-year career, a former colleague and I were asked to come coach under 23 sort of academy youngsters. And after our introductions and everyone spoke about, you know, their records on and off the field, my colleague, Herschel Gibbs, great batter, great fielder, he just told the young kid, he said, whatever the coaches said about Jonty and his career, statistically, there's one thing that I want you to know is Jonty's legacy. What I remember about Jonty was the way that he practiced. So no one sees your practice. There's no camera, there's no lights. You're kind of just doing it on your own half the time. And that sat with my colleague, an international cricketer, was the way that I'd practiced. So I think especially, again, my drive in this is that for a team culture, it needs to come from senior members in an organization. And it can't just be a spoken word or an email. It has to be a consistent behavior away from, you know, when people see you when you're not expecting to be seen. And that was so important for me, is that if it is, I spoke at an event last week where a Swedish brand, IKEA, the CEO had the CEO and Chief Sustainability Officer. I mean, sustainability is at the core of a brand like IKEA. I'm not plugging IKEA, sorry, because I was from Sweden, but it just made it obvious to me that unless you get a CEO who's also the Chief Wellness Officer, we're still going to be in a stage of a lot of talking. And our approach is not just about fitness, it's wellness. So it's mental and physical health and well-being of an organization. And that legacy needs to come from the senior players, the senior people in the organization. So we've had a great start. We've finally hit the ground running. And as I said, I had no idea how difficult it is to set up, even in a country where there is this sort of startup environment where people are really keen to get going. So thank you for your patience. And thank you, everybody, for giving me another opportunity. Looking forward to being a part of the panel a bit later. And see you for lunch. Catch you there.